Hello, good people of the internet again. I finally got back onto my bench. I've cleared some of the shite that was on it, and it was all piled up with junk and then layers of dust and grime on top. So I've cleaned it all off and back over here like the good old days, like the earlier videos, which I think will help me just talk to you properly. And as I've got things here, I can show you in more detail than hanging off the side of a tractor. I've got some deliveries that when I'm at work through the week, I sit buying stuff, and then stuff turns up. So I'm just going to rip into these now. This is the other bit of the exhaust. I can tell that from what it is. The last exhaust 90 comes from turbo bend up there. We've got, this is the exhaust step up. That goes up to the 4-inch pipe, which the 4-inch pipe is what the main stack's going to be. So I've got to put like a bit of an inlet lip in there. So that's those parts. These are bolts. I ordered the wrong size, but they'll come in for something else. And can't remember what this is. Oh, the turbo pipe. I'd ordered the wrong one last week, so I'd sent it back. Got a fresh one, which is a 45 degree, which is what I wanted. I'd had a 90 degree. I think I miscalculated what I'd needed when I was at home. Ordered the wrong part. Now I've got 45 degrees, so put a turbo pipe on completely because I've got the connecting pipe that will go to it down here. It's all money. It's all money. And this is the part I've been waiting for, the key part to this that you can't just get anywhere. So this is the gear. I think I've got the original one off the power steering pump that I've been looking for. So to explain what I'm trying to say, on the power steering pump on the blue engine, the gear, that's the gear off of it, and the gears that are on the yellow engine are a different angle, as you can see there. So they don't mesh. I can't use that gear on this engine, but I still want to use the pump. So I spoke to a guy who has this pretty much a similar conversion on the internet and said, how did you do the gear thing? And he says, I've got one, so I'll send it out to you. If it fits, if it meshes, it requires some machining, but if it fits and meshes, etc., then you can buy it off me. So these, I believe, are a little bit like rocking or shit, but I have one, and it does require some machining, I believe, because, well, I'm yet to find out. He did explain to me, but I'll be honest, I didn't quite understand. We've got to take 7 mil off of what I think is the face, so we'll do that in the lathe. And also the shaft doesn't fit. Yeah, the taper inside there is slightly different, but again, until I can get to grips with it, I don't know how different it is. But effectively, that looks like the thing I need. Just it requires a little bit of work. I'll give that a whirl today because then I can give him an answer, and then if he, if it is correct and is right, then I can buy it off him. So that is the secret. That's the key to my steering working. As soon as that's done, whoop, I'm away with my steering. That's everything for parts. I've got some new pins, just so they were the right length bolts. They turned up earlier just so I could finish this off. This is all done, tested, fitted it, and it all works. I am just going to right now thread lock everything because I just don't want anything to come loose at such high speed and completely obliterate the radiator. So everything's right now. It's all completely bish bash bosh. And yeah, I'm just gonna glue it together, pop it on, and hopefully it doesn't have to come off again. So once that's on now, it doesn't have to come off, it can stay on. I could do with some washers on there. But put all them pins in, and then I think as well I'm going to use that bracket as, I don't know if you can see it on the phone, I'm going to use the bracket I've just put on, the fan one, and come off of it for the exhaust man. So there's a couple of points in which it's all kind of like held in place. But that's it, done. So I'm just looking into this gear that I've been sent. I've just taken the power steering pump back off. Now it's been on the tractor just without a gear on, just so I can make all the pipe work that fits around it fit. So I've just taken it back off, got the keyway back. And the original gear that was on the Ford fits on like so. The one that I've been sent, so he sent it me with the caveat of it will need some machining. So it's going to require some depth taken out of it so that it will fit on properly. And the taper, I don't know if you can see, ooh, that part there is tapered, is different. Before I go down the route of machining this, I'm going to just call another man who had spoken to me about he'd got a gear, and I just want to make sure that if his gear is one of these, then I'm okay, I'll carry on with this route. If his is what he was kind of explaining was it's that fitment like that, but with those teeth, then I might go down that route because it would just save a lot of time and potential for things to go wrong, especially with me, because like I said in the last video, there's always something. Now then, moving on from the power steering pump, I've cut down the 45-degree pipe that I received in the mail. I've got a 90-degree that's also a reducer, and I'm making up the turbo inlet pipe. I'm not putting intercooler on it. Maybe one day, if I think I want more power, I'll probably look at putting an intercooler on. But for now, I'm just going straight from turbo to inlet. I've also just cut a 3-inch piece of steel pipe. I ordered this blind as well, so I needed that much. I ordered that much, but that'll come into its own on a future project, I'm sure. But that's classic me, ordering stuff. I'm lying in bed at night, no idea. Just yeah. So if I get all these clamped up together, it should pop straight on. The alignment is pretty good. 7mm, I'll just do it by hand. Oh, this is why I use the Auger Dogger gun, because it takes so long when you do it by hand. And now you're watching me do it, and it's really boring. What? Oh, I've got the socket the wrong way round. These little sockets, if you don't pay attention, I end up trying to put it on the gun side. There we go. So now I can go over, pop that straight on. That's is that 70mm? I can't remember. That's 70. That's about 63, and that goes straight into the manifold, straight out of the turbo. Bish bash bosh. I liked the black look. I think a lot of people tend to go for that sporty blue look, but I don't know. I like things to be a little bit more under the radar, so black for me. So I'm just going to hold the camera, put this on with one hand, only because I've got the bonnet on at the minute, just because I'm sizing up the hole for the exhaust. So that, my friends, is a turbo pipe done. It took all of 10-15 minutes to sort, but it's a very simple setup, not much to it. And like I say, I might alter it in the future to include an intercooler, but as I'm not using this for tractor pulling, I'm not using this for anything extensive, I'm just doing it because, then I don't think that extra bit of power is needed. For now, regular turbo, regular intake. Okay, yay. Moving on from the turbo outlet pipe, I am now making the turbo inlet pipe, which goes from the air filter to the turbo. I'm using the original air filter pipe that was on the original tractor. However, it went from the left-hand side all the way to the right-hand side, straight into the intake manifold. Don't want that anymore. I want it to go from left-hand side, stay on the left-hand side, straight into the turbo. So I'm cutting all the angular parts. Sorry for the clanging and the banging. Don't mean to blow your ears out with that. There's still a part missing. No, there isn't. That's all of it. So, yeah, so it was kind of like, how was it? Something like, yeah, there is a bit missing. Oh, it's there. Anyway, I've cut it into segments. Don't need that bit, that's surplus. Cut it into segments and I'm remaking it now into a single straight piece. I'm not doing that manner, I'm doing that manner. There we go, that's the format. So I need to align all the edges up a bit better. And, hello little spider. And that will go, that is pretty much straight into my turbo at that. So that's recycled some of the old stuff pretty nicely, I would say. I'm just going to clean up the edges, make sure they align up properly, tack weld them together and see that it all goes together. If it does, weld it up, put it on. Right, well that was a quick little 25-minute, half an hour job. Using the original blue pipe. I was trying to explain before, it went from there, it kind of zigzagged down that way and into that inlet pipe there, but now we have a turbo on this side, so I rerouted it down into here using the same blue pipe. It's just tacked together at the minute. Fortunately, first shapes are cut, were bang on perfect. You can see the joint, that just needs welding up properly. That one I've used the original rubber joint, which means it can collapse, so that if I take it off, it can collapse away from the turbo and pull out. Otherwise, because if it was all welded one unit, there'd be no room to either like pull it out that way or pull it out that, you know. So that means that the whole structure can collapse. Anyway, yeah, about 25, half an hour into that one. And I think that's a pretty neat job, I would say. Keeps it up and out the way, so it's not filling any of this space. Means I can get the fan in and out if I did want to take that off again, which I'm not going to take that off again, but the way I've got it set up and the way I've got it made is that whole unit can lift off and come out. And that's nice and tucked away, out the way, going into the original air filter, which is there. I think I made a bit of a mess with the air cleaner trying to get it off back in the day, but yeah, anyway. So I'm going to call it quits tonight. It's Saturday tonight. I'll be back on this a bit tomorrow. Yeah, should have a few more bits done. Hopefully tomorrow is the exhaust. And that's that done. Gonna find out more about that pulley. That's doing my head in a little bit. There's a couple of pipsqueak leaks on the cooling system that I'm gonna try and bust tomorrow as well. And then that leaves me with the final problem of this not getting enough fuel to it. Now I have a feeling there's like a one-way valve in there, and if I blow into that pipe there, it dead ends. I would have thought that should flow through there quite nicely. I took off the inline filter thinking it could be that, but no, it's still doing it. I'm back. Today's Sunday. I've only got a couple of hours today, so I'm just going to finish up some of the exhaust bits. Is that stainless? I want it to be stainless. No. Yeah, so got some bits to do on the exhaust. I'm only going to get to level with the bonnet today, I think. If I'm quick, that is. So, yeah, that's on today's agenda. It's gone cold. Okay, so this is my plan with the exhaust. You may have seen out of the turbo, kind of got the U-bend part that's already up on there. That's the straight bit that comes, I'll weld that on that said U-bend. That is plumb in the center of the oval on the bonnet. And then I've got this step up, 4-inch step up that will go onto there like so. What I'm going to do is I've cut a piece of this 4-inch and I've had a segment out of it, shrunk it down and pressed it inside so that I can hopefully, if it all works as planned, which it isn't doing, I think the clamp's making it oblong. But if I was to put a tack of weld on there, bend it out flat, the idea being, this is going to be my main exhaust stack. And yes, I am going to keep it this long. I want it to look like a train. No, I'm not really. I'm going to cut it down. But so the idea being that part is slightly smaller diameter, and that becomes the new seat for that to sit on. Obviously, I'm struggling at the minute because, like I say, that clamp I've got on is making it like an oblong shape. So I wonder if I can just pop a tack of weld on there. Anyway, I can. That's stuff I can sort off of camera. But yeah, so that's how it's gonna be. It's just like that, and then my stack will just sit on top of it like that. That's the plan. So I don't know if I can see in very well, but I've got the exhaust now mocked up. I think that's kind of tidy. They're just tacked. Just tack them in place, hoping it all lines up. And so far, I'll just move my little welder out the way. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think that looks pretty tidy. And that comes out to the center there. We're actually getting most of the way done with the pipe work now. Yeah, nifty. I'm actually going to be calling it quits on this weekend. I'm going to go spend a little bit of time with the missus for the rest of this Sunday. So that's it until next week. If you enjoyed that, if you want to carry on watching this build and following me and following this, and you know, do that thing and do the subscribe thing. And I've seen some people also do the you know, like the notification thing as well, so you could give that a whirl if you wanted to. Yeah, so until next week, see you then.